Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Two Stall Garage. And as you can see, I'm back here in Shitbox Acres. Now, as you probably noticed by the thumbnail here, this 1984 Suburban, well, we're getting it back on the road, hopefully. So first things first, we got to get it out of Shitbox Acres, pull it into the garage. Hasn't been fired up in a couple weeks, so I don't know what's going on. I brought the good or bad battery that I've had laying around for it that doesn't really have a charge. My extra long jumper cables, because hopefully Angus has juice left in its battery, and we'll just jump them. And if not, we'll come up with a plan C, I guess. And then let's just see. I got a gas can full of about a quarter inch of bad gas for the snowblower. Yeah, that should be good enough. So let's get into it. Kind of just check it out. Make sure the critters haven't gotten into it. Oh, crusty. Crusty. I'm gonna have to lube up them seals. No new smells of mice, just the same old nasty smell that it had, so good. That's good enough for right now. So let's move on to the end of the hood here. Yep, just about as good as I remember it. So this thing has a severe high idle to it, which could be a couple things, but just off the first glance you can see that vacuum canister has a nice big crack in it, so that could be part of it. So yeah, we're gonna have to do some vacuum line stuff. This one over here I did cut, but that's the least of the problems. We got an exhaust leak and some other stuff, battery cleaning up, a whole bunch of stuff to do to this. But let me see if we have any gas in here, and no, bone dry. So that thing leaks out, no idea where it goes. I fill it up every time. Don't think I'm burning it off, but either way, let's get this thing going. All right, hopefully those cables are long enough. If not, I'm gonna go get different ones. Or maybe I'll just go get the keys for Angus and move him. He hasn't been fired up in a while. It'd probably be the smarter thing to do. Probably smarter thing to do. Did I bring? Yeah, I did. A pair of pliers. Trusty old pliers. Good enough to tighten on this battery. I don't know. Tried the boil trick in a video that, oh, we got something. Tried the boil trick, and I don't have anything good enough to boil batteries with, so instead of spending $200 on a charger that can do that or a welder, I'll just buy a $100 battery. Anyways, I'm gonna close that door so the buzzer stops. Let's see if cables are gonna be long enough. Probably not. There. And of course, they're not 20 feet long, so I'll be right back. I gotta go get the keys for Angus. Well, hey, back, got keys. Let's see if Angus starts. If not, I got my jump pack. We'll get them fired. this thing without it being in. Oh, no brakes. What do we got? Oh yeah. Neutral. Perfect. I'll let Angus run here for a minute. We're gonna go put this in the garage. Well, I hope that's not a head gasket. I hope that's just condensation. We'll see. All right. I did not want to do brakes. Tires, not good. All right. Well, that sucks. That sucks. Should've just kept going. Interesting. Well, let's see what we can do here. Well, Christopher told me back to here, and yeah, because it gets stuck right there in the slop. Now it won't start again, so now I got the impaler right here. We're going to jumper it, get this thing fired up, get it in the garage. Hey, impaler. go. We got a Suburban in the garage. Let's get after it. Okay, well, here it is. This is a 1984 Chevrolet Suburban SM460 4-speed transmission, two-wheel drive, 66,000 original miles, and today, now it's in the garage, we're going to begin working on it. I don't know what it needs other than fuel system brakes. That's kind of common. I know it needs license plates to figure out some rust repair in the back, which we'll get into that here a little bit later. Looks like it needs a windshield, so on and so forth. So we're going to go through, make a list, write down the windshield of everything that it needs. Of course, you're always going to add to the list. You're always going to take away from the list, and it's rolling edits. It's just what it is. So I'm going to start by, just putting the known things on it, and then we'll go ahead and walk around it and see what else it does. Okay, so we know we got to tackle the fuel system. Now, we have a little lawnmower tank in here that we've been filling up, and it goes down to the mechanical pump. So we know the mechanical pump is good, so that's okay. But I think it's going into the carb and then returning it because it's sucking fuel out of that tank real quick. So we'll have to figure that out. Hopefully it's not anything bad, but we'll figure out the fuel system, as we go along. Next thing that I noticed that is a really big thing is, of course, brakes. Brakes. So we need brakes. They stop, but they don't return. That side locks up, so I already need hoses. Probably gonna do hoses on both sides. While we're in there, we're gonna do bearings, check those out, repack them if need be. Maybe we'll turn the rotors if needed back. We'll dive into those drums as well. We're gonna need all the fluids changed. Fluids. So this is this paint pen is not being my friend today. Oil. This will be transmission, which I think that is basically gear lube. We'll check out the rear end. Rear. We'll do all the basics on it. And then coolant. I do believe we have radiator leak, but we want to get that squared away. Next thing I know we gotta do, we gotta tackle charge system. I don't know if you saw me there when I was pulling this in. I stopped, pulled the multimeter out, and put some on the post while it was running. We're only getting 12 volts. Battery should be 12.6. Even with a dead battery that we have in this, we should be all above that. So alternator, that already tells me that that is junk. So I have an alternator. Hopefully that works. Pretty sure that'll work. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we need to put an alternator on this thing. Also, it's going to need belts. It's going to need a battery. There's one in there, it's not good. And then we got to fix the rust. Windshield's cracked. We're going to need a windshield. Of course, this is optional. Wipers. I already got a new set of wipers, so that's a win. Wipers. We got new tires, because the tires on here are junk. And what else do we gotta do? I don't know. That's a lot to get done. Probably gotta clean it up more. So I'm just gonna put detail, because that incorporates the outside and the inside. What I think I'm gonna do, spoiler alert, not paint the outside, because yeah, I think we're just going to power wash. We'll SOS pad it, get all this barnacles and whatever else that's crusty on here off. We're just going to honestly do the linseed oil maneuver. See how that looks for the summer. If it looks good, maybe next winter we'll do the wipe on clear, or we'll do the wipe on clear next fall. I don't know. Either way, I want to keep and preserve as much of this patina as I can, because the paint is kind of cool. Oh yeah, we gotta fix this door. Oh, I hate when the list goes this side. Past your door. It won't open. It's got a big dent in it right here. I gotta get in there and rip the door panel off from the inside. So probably gonna unbolt the front bench seat. Probably pull all the seats out and do a deep dive clean. Maybe get down to the floor pans, and I have some of that lizard skin. Put some of that down for some sound deadening stuff, or maybe we'll just buy sound deadening and put that in there. I don't know. That's in the future. What else do we gotta do? I don't know. What else do you gotta see? Well, let's do a walk around and check it out. Let's just start with power area, the power barn. Well, yeah. So you can see our fuel system is leaking, and I thought it was puking back into the system, but apparently not. So it's just dripping out, which is that's great, because yeah, we got to address that high idle issue, and we got the vacuum lines that need to be addressed. So I can know the one vacuum line over here, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is done. The ones I cut are bad as well, so we need to deal with those. Air conditioning. I want the air conditioner to work. Question being is, are we going to be able to make it work? We're going to have to convert it, because I think it's R12. But there's some tricks that I have seen on the interwebs to convert it. We will see what we can do with that. Beyond that, I'm sure heater core is probably awesome, leaking out as well. So that'll be all stuff with the AC, including the blower motor if we got to change that out. Have one of those so we can do that. I don't know. What do you see? What do you see? Brakes? Should we do a master cylinder? Probably. So we'll do that on the brakes, but yeah, we'll probably, I don't know, maybe hopefully the wiring's not too bad. I know some of these grounds, we're gonna have to get in here and clean these up, because those are the ones for the headlights. Headlights are really dim, so we'll clean all those up. Radiator, probably gonna have to order a radiator. That one looks a little and the core support down here is not the best, but I guess we'll address that here as we go through this. All right, moving along to the outside. There's a big dent in the driver's door. Try to pop that out, get this door at least opened up. These weather strippings, hey, look, I guess they'll be okay for right now. Maybe make sure the wing windows, those open up. Yeah, this molding, we'll have to do something with that, whether shoot a self-tapper in it or something. Fix that. Biggest concern again is going to be back here with the amount of rust that's on this quarter panel. Now, since we pressure washed it and blasted away a lot of the stuff, you can see it's got like another weird little, I don't know, little ring thing forming on here. And same thing with up here. So this is getting bad. We're going to have to do something to it, treat it. Is it savable? I think we'll be able to salvage it for now, but we got to do something with it. So I got some rust converter. We'll put that on at least. Maybe we'll soak it down with some, I don't know. I'm not telling you, I'm not doing body work on that just yet. Backside here, well, what do we got here? The rear window tailgate, it's not in line, so we're gonna have to address that. Headliner itself is all, it's not good. So headliner's gonna have to get addressed when we do interior work. Back, I think the rear bumper and everything back here is pretty well good. Let's move to the driver's side. Yeah, we got the big rust hole down here. We'll have to figure that out. Make sure we're not through. Do have a pinhole up here. That's got to get taken care of soon because it's going to let water come in and rust it out even more. This door is rough. Same thing with that rocker panel. So we'll have to finagle that around. Finagle it. Tires, I mentioned the tires are shot. They're dry rotted as all can be. So yeah, we're gonna have to put a new set of skins on this. Big hole here in the inner fender well. We'll have to patch that with something, because actually I do have an inner fender well for the 80s. Maybe we'll just change it out with a new one. See how the other one is. I don't know. We'll look at it right now. It's not as bad, but bad enough. So yeah, we'll have to address that. What do we got? So as we go inside here, we're gonna pull all the seats out. We're gonna scrub up. I think I'm gonna try to salvage that floor mat because I don't have carpet to put in there. So we'll try to salvage that, scrub it down, and just try to put this thing back together with a big, deep clean. But this is going to be into tomorrow's project because I've honestly been out here working all day on the other Suburban, getting that ready to go. That was the last video. So I'm going to put a few more things on the list here, and we'll be back and see you guys in the morning. Well, good morning, next day, and I'm back out here working on this 1984 Chevrolet Suburban. I did go through and add a few more things to the list here last night. And first things first, this morning I popped the air cleaner off and we got this all uncovered. We are going to get in here and vacuum stuff out. As you can see, we got a bunch of crud, I don't know, helicopter, spinny things, mouse things, whatever else going on. And that stuff usually will catch fire if it's not properly cleaned up. So that's going to be my first order of business this morning. Getting that all situated, taken care of, and then we're going to move on to the fuel system. So just so you're aware, antivirus is a real thing. So breathing in the mouse carcasses, urine, fecal matter, probably not a good thing. So if you need to wear a respirator, sanitize your hands, kind of stuff. Anyways, I was cleaning and I saw over here we got the actual build code, build sheet. Yeah. Usually these are in the glove box. I don't know if it's just something that all of a sudden they put on here in this one for the guy who worked for GM, but that's kind of nice, neat. I'm gonna clean it up, see if we can get any information off of it. Okay. So, model number CC20906, interior WS wiper system, whatever that means. It's got the extension below eye line. Don't know what that is. It's got HD front stabilizer, so it's got a heavy duty front stabilizer bar. That's nice. 5.7 liter V8 gas engine. It's the 1L T9. We got a 31 gallon capacity gas tank. Cool. We got the halogen headlight beams. All right. Heavy duty 7 lead trail. Can't read it. I'm guessing stabilizer bar for the rear. AM/FM stereo. Dang. Deluxe front. Okay. I think that's because it's deluxe front end, which is like the Silver Deuce. Let's see, the tire size, we got a LT 3585R. 16s, is that what's on here? Yep, 16s, R16s. We got a special trailer. Oh, the trailer wiring, okay. We got the 2-1 LT blue for the light blue two-tone. Over the other side, we got the folding center seat, air conditioning. I can't see what the, tailgate body. Okay, because I like my tailgates. We got the rear axles standard, 4-speed manual transmission, power steering, headlight buzzard warning. That still works. Something CLCC, I don't know, something with a trailer. I'm guessing spare tire stuff. Scottsdale equipped blue custom code. And then we got the order number is X70756. So why is all that information special? Well, according to legend, heard it through the grapevine, this truck was original owner from GM. He worked there, had a special build. You couldn't get this thing built this way. You had to work there and be like, I want this, I'm from this truck and there. And they were like, since you work here, we'll let you do it, kind of stuff. So from what I gathered, he put together the Scottsdale edition of a Silverado onto a Suburban. So we got all those goodies on this 1984 GMC. Nope, this is the Chevrolet Suburban. Part of the reason why I really want to keep it as much as original as possible, even though it's gone, but we're going to do our best, and that's what this series is. So, pretty cool truck, 66,000 original miles, and it definitely shows that it's got 66,000 miles. So, very cool finding that Spidco down there. I'm sure it's got one in the glove box too, but that's the first time I've seen one on the inner fender like that. Probably because all the inner fenders are rotted out, but anyways, moving on. So back up here now, you can see we got everything all cleaned up for the most part. Any little fires will be small enough, I guess. A lot of hoses for vacuum hoses they're doing the non-vacuum thing. That's a check valve that's got to go somewhere. I assume it's got to go into that little spot right there. Yeah, we got a lot of this. It goes to the distributor, probably for advanced timing. So this thing, you see the Rochester Quadra Barrel, which I'm leaving on there, is a vacuum driven choke. So without having proper vacuum right down here, it's probably leaving our choke closed like that, and that's why we have high idle. So we need to fix that and address it. I also went ahead and already fixed the one over here with this little vacuum canister ball. Pretty simple. You usually can get away with these hoses if you just take them and kind of just nip them a little bit and then put them back on there. You can usually get away with them if they're not too bad. So we were able to do that on that one. Hopefully it holds up. If not, vacuum hose is cheap enough. But all that stuff, like those ones right there, that one being split, that's gonna cause us an issue. Furthermore, that goes inside the cab right there, and I'm guessing it has something to do with running the air conditioner units, and that's why we have a canister ball to get more vacuum. So the way these things work is it basically, you put a vacuum on it, it holds a vacuum in there for all your accessories that are vacuum driven. So that's where you get check valves and everything else, and then if they start leaking, it's just kind of a nightmare. But yeah, that'll be something that we are going to address. But first, we are going to get down here to the fuel pump. Now you can see our makeshift fuel system we have here is just a little boat lawnmower tank setup. And we have a feed that goes down to the fuel pump, right down there. And then we have the return, which I think that's what was leaking yesterday when we were looking at this, was the return side of the fuel pump is actually just depressurizing. So off the fuel pump there, you got a couple lines. You got an in, return, and then you got a hard steel line that comes up to the carburetor right here. That prevents vapor locking. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get down there into that fuel pump to the fuel line. We are gonna blow back, I think, in the fuel line to make sure that it has no clogging. And take some compressed air and squirt it in there. Same thing on the return line, just to make sure that it's good, you know, going back to the tank. We'll address any issues that we may have with that. Now it's a low pressure system. It should only be maybe 5-7 pounds, something like that. It shouldn't be too much, but we need to make sure that we have fuel because we're running that stock system, stock fuel pump. I ain't running a electric one. But checking out fuel tank here. I don't know why we have a red cap on here, but here's what it is. What do we got? Smells like some bad gas, maybe a little bit of varnishing. It actually doesn't smell too terrible though. Almost like someone put fuel stabilizer in it, but it kind of expired. But let's see under the tank here. Oh, what do we got? What do we got? Oh, what do we got? Sounds like it's got a couple gallons in it. It's probably from everything we've been... I don't know. No noticeable leaks though, which is good so far. I can see a brake line is back here that needs to be replaced. Huh. That's fun. Fuel fill tube. Well, that's okay for right now, I guess. Interesting. All right. Well, let's see if we can get the fuel lines back up. So underneath here, you can see the hard line that goes up to the carburetor. We got our battery cable, which is this right here. Got some grass that was growing. We got our big line right here that's plugged. That's to our fuel tank. That's our main supply. Looks like that's our return. And you can see them are plumbed down that fuel pump down there. Now, hopefully, fuel pump and everything is good still, and it doesn't give us any issues. I don't see any reasons. They usually don't go bad that often, and it's been running the engine here recently. So I'm just going to pull those off. Kind of plumb them back together. This return line, I'm going to totally put it, take it off, put the old system back on it. But I'm going to leave a chunk of my hose from the fuel pump on there, and we'll run an inline filter just to pre-filter what's in the tank, because who knows what's in there. And yes, I know all the YouTubers do it, but why not? Because it's a good idea, right? Yeah. So we'll do that. I got to see if I can finagle up some fittings and some barbs. I'm sure I got some in a fuel line repair kit. I'm looking right at it. And we'll get this thing fixed. Hear anything? What about this side? Here's the fuel line side. Well, did you hear it? Did you? I did, and I can also smell it. It smells pretty bad. So I got no blockages in my line. So now we're gonna head up to the front side Jones again here, and we're gonna hook everything up, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, now that it's done, idiot. We got the line all hooked up here to the fuel pump. You can see runs service loop, got a filter. This runs back down into the hard line onto the frame rail. The other one down there as well runs to the vent and is all snugged up. This will allow us to see what's coming out of the tank. Now I'm gonna work on the mess of the vacuum lines. mentioned earlier that there's quite a few of them that are just bad, grody, nasty, and there's a lot of them to make this thing work properly. But don't get discouraged because they're just lines. Do one at a time and you'll be fine. I'm gonna try to salvage as much of these lines as I can and still have everything connected as much as I can. If I gotta cap off stuff, I'll cap off stuff, but I'm gonna take some time and make sure this thing is, you know, somewhat legit. Okay, now I got some vacuum lines, I think, sorted out. I'm gonna move on to changing out this alternator. Now I have a couple of them on the shelf. We'll have to look and compare. I think I have one like this sitting somewhere. Might have a different pulley on it. We'll have to change it out, but pretty simple. 9/16 and 1/2 inch will get you taken care of. 1/2 inch is the adjustment here, and then 9/16 of course is the one that's on the head. Probably a good idea to take the ground cable off, clean it up, you know, because that's where it grounds, and make sure that's nice and clean. So I'm gonna get this thing popped out and be back here when I gotta find my other alternator before we get stuff turned on, I guess. Shut up, Chris. Just get to work. Just get to work. What'd you say? 13? 1/2 inch. Something like that. Don't strip it out. Oh, no. Light is really hot over my head. Alright. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the 3/8 on the back as well. Your charge wire. Charge wire. Charge wire right here. Be a 3/8 to get it off. And this is your exciting wire because it's excited. Just don't break it. It sounds crispy. Hopefully I got one that works. What did I say, 3/8? Probably not. I'm gonna try 10 millimeters, that's what I have. It's 3/8 because it's loose. I'm just an idiot. Yep, so as I was saying, it's 10 millimeter. Not 3/8. Probably should have your battery unhooked when you're doing this too. If you got any voltages going to it, you can definitely short it out when you start putting positive on the ground in the engine. I might have done that once or twice because I didn't hook my battery and I went like this and my wire started on fire. 305, 85 pounds. Not good. Are we loose? No. I got that 9/16 off there. You sure it's 9/16? Probably. Why not? Why not? Oh hey, 9/16. Do we need a busting bar? Probably. Stendo Presto. That would be tight. You want to lose. You gonna get it? We're gonna slip down our hands and bust our knuckles. Break off. at? Shitty 9/16. Into the trash you go. Maybe half-inch driver. Is that gonna do better? I think so. All right. Doing something. Open the alternator. I really hope I'm not turning that to licorice. Let's get the belt off now. Nope. One more. Not get the belt off. I don't want to do that because I'm going to end up pinching off the wire. At least we're loosening stuff up. Well, as you could guess, yeah, I snapped the head off of the bolt that I was trying to get off there. Now I got the whole bracket disassembled in there, but I still can't get that alternator off of the bolt. So, got the death wheel. I'm gonna slice it. I'm actually just gonna cut the housing of the alternator because I know it's junk. And hopefully we can not blow this thing up with all the gas we've had dumped everywhere. But yeah, I got no other options. I tried beating it off, tried prying it off, and I don't have any way to get it out. So luckily though, it's spinning coming out of the head, so we should be able to extract it out as soon as we get the alternator off, but I gotta cut it off to do that. So I'm gonna do it, take precautions, get your fire extinguisher and stuff ready. Oh. Well, there you go. We got alternator off, and that bracket's still there. So now I'm gonna extract that thing off, and hopefully it works. And we gotta change out pulleys, make sure this thing's even gonna work for our needs, because I do have some over there on the floor. We'll get to that here in a minute. Okay, so this one's the stock alternator that came off, that we just torched off, cut off. That's where that bolt was that I broke off. These two right here, they are two alternators that I have just laying around. So quick side-by-side comparison. First thing I notice is, well, we got different splinages. That one's got a squeak to it too. And by splinages, I mean belts. So we got belt right here that more would like match this setup. This fan, this turbo, this thing, I don't want to take it off and use it because you can see it's kind of got some nasty chunkiness to it. Right there's a good one. Where it's rusting out, separate from that plastic from the cooling fin. So even if we have to, I don't want to use that. However, we got to do a side-by-side comparison. So this one, I did take the belt, this pulley off. We'll just have to tighten it back up. But let's see what kind of we do to do comparison. So first glance, we do this. We got casing's the same, casing's the same. That'll work. That's short, stubby. It's got the hole here. It's got that. Okay. As we look at the back side of them here, you can see we have it clocked right. They both have this one down here, this one up here. I mean, you can't clock them and change them up, so that's gonna work. This is a Delco rubber. I mean, I think this is the original one I took off Bert that was still good. I just wanted a brand new one on there, so I put a new one on there for Power Tour. But either way, we'll put it on and see what it does. Let's see now. Plug up here and a plug up there. They look like they are the same and will work. So we got ourselves right here a good alternator that we can throw on. This one, if we do the same comparison to these two, let's see here. Right off the bat, I can already tell you that the back side here is where the charge wire goes, and the exciter wires and everything plugging back here. It's a newer style. Yeah, that's probably not gonna work. This is more like one off of the Impala maybe. It's not out of the realm of getting it better. It just has 4 pins in it versus the 2 standard old school one. So yeah, so we got this one. It's been sitting on a shelf now for a bit. You do gotta again tighten that up, so that's pretty simple. But other than that, might as well throw it on and see what it does. I am gonna play around with a multimeter and see if I can get this thing tested out. If there's anything ways to tell if it's a good or bad alternator by multimetering it. I'll let you know. All right, well, it is later on in the evening and I'm back from doing all my parts running. And now it's time to get this alternator installed onto Bert. I did pick up some new longer bolts. Hopefully they're gonna work. They're about relatively the same size. And I've been working on here for the last couple minutes this cable end because we split it. As you can see from this side, it's cracked on this side. So what I have done is I've taken this little piece of metal like so, and we're gonna solder it on. And I got the puppy out here. Bella, what are you doing? Are you being all sad? You being all sad? Puppy. Also went ahead and picked up battery because so we can do battery things, you know, turn this thing over. So I'm gonna quickly solder that on. I'm gonna do a little bit of cleanup and then I'm gonna go live. So hopefully, I don't know, we'll give you updates when I'm done going live. Gotta do work first. Oh yeah, do some work first. What kind of work are you gonna do? I just told you guys. I'm gonna solder this thing on. Oh, Bella. Are you being a puppy? Are you just being a puppy? Just being a puppy. Puppy dog. Oh. Well, that live was good. As you see, we're very smoky in here because if you watched the live, you saw that, well, Bert 2.0, it was running. It was running under its own fuel system, which is good. We accomplished that. We also tried to put in the alternator, and, well, that bolt I have was not long enough. So back to the hardware store for me, hopefully tomorrow. I don't know. I might have one laying around. I'm gonna look. Got some updates for you. I was able to finagle up and make that alternator work. Let me show you what I did. Well, I went through, and that used to go all the way through there, as you can see, doesn't anymore. I just cut it. Put a shorter bolt into the head and to the one to the rear of the alternator case here. Had this one laying around, put a bolt on the end of it, and it is snug, and the one on the top, and we are lined up. Put the wire back on, plumbed everything up, and I'm gonna have to get a new belt here sooner than later, but fired it up, and we are getting 14.55 volts of electricity. So that alternator is in fact charging. Battery is good. So I think we're kind of moving along the list of things to knock out. So let's go over that list that we got on the windshield and cross some stuff off. Well, sorry for the blurriness. I'm trying to do some more cinematography, I guess, with the iPhone, as you can see. So I guess it's best if I stand right here so it's not so blurry. What did we accomplish today? Fuel system. Well, come on. We could say it's running under its own fuel. Brakes, didn't do that. Fluids, yeah. Oil, didn't do anything with that. Charge system, well, charge system is charging. So that's good. Battery, we got battery done. So that can be crossed off as well. You know, we got a lot done. Might not seem like a lot, but those are some pretty big things for a day's worth of work. And not even really a day's worth of work because, well, half the day I spent driving around because we're supposed to get a massive snowstorm here in central Kentucky. Yeah. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it here, I think, for tonight. Hopefully we'll pick it up in tomorrow. I'd like to get this thing back outside and actually run and warm up all the gaskets and warm up all the hoses and get all the coolant going because I wanted to get up to operating temperature before I do a whole hell of a lot to it. Then we could drop the oil, change the filter, do all that fun stuff. You know, stuff. All right. See you tomorrow. So I'm back in the 2-stall garage. It's actually my 1-stall garage. Working on this 1984 Suburban. Where we left it off here the other night was we crossed off some stuff there on the list that we got accomplished. That fuel system, charging system was all taken care of. So this morning I'm going to give it an oil change. Gonna go through and put a new belt on that alternator because that one was not very the greatest. It was kind of gross. So we're gonna do that. And also I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna clean up those grounds on the driver's side part of the engine block here. I might even go a little crazy and make up some more grounds and ground the firewall to the engine block itself because I don't see one on there, and it's supposed to be somewhere in that general area. You should have some kind of grounds. Now, why do I bring that up? Well, because most people on these forums, when they start asking, having issues with my vehicle and so on and so forth. I kind of was in a really good pattern to just give advice really quick. And it doesn't sink in, and I'm tired of giving away advice for free, other than on YouTube here. So come watch my channel, check the stuff out. But anyway, the most common thing that I say is, hey, get your multimeter out, check your grounds, because usually your grounds look like that. Well, that one's actually not too bad, but check your grounds. And then I get into arguments of, no, I don't think that's it. You're wrong. Okay, well, just giving my advice. If you don't want to take it, then don't take it. But I don't know, just kind of frustrating. So, lesson learned on my end. I stopped doing that. Anyways, so back on this, got to give it an oil change. I went with Napa Know-How. Yeah, because the Napa 1030 was actually on pretty good sale that they had going on. So I went and picked some of that up. Got the Pro Select filter. It's Napa's cheapest one that they could possibly have for a Suburban. And I got my bill. So had to go with the XL 7445 because the one that I had was a 7460. So it's a little different than that one, but I thought it was going to work, but obviously it's not. So we need the longer one for our alternator. So I'm going to start by quickly draining the oil, or otherwise I'm going to lose the shop kind of mentality. Stop. And we're going to go from there. So here I am on the floor. You might ask, why don't you just use that creeper? Well, I found that over the years, I don't really like creepers because I slide all around and I put my pinch points on the floor and I keep myself angled for making moves. Plus, I got height restrictions and I'm not the skinniest of fellers, so. But just looking underneath this thing, it's honestly pretty dang solid for sitting as long as it was. These are usually rotted out. Floorboards are usually gone. Mount right here is just totally annihilated. And this cross member is junk. Frame rail over there is usually just terrible. And I don't want to look because those lines are horrible. But yeah, it's pretty good overall. That thing's usually rotted out. I think we caught this thing just in time. Also, exhaust is not terrible. Probably gonna leave that on there. It looks newer. Might as well. Anyways, back to doing oil change before I lose a shop. Can't lose a shop. Oh. Can you see it? Can you see it? So I got universal wrench because I don't know. Sometimes you guess on which size it is and it's not, and then you get pissed off and you just decide to go grab the universal one that works on everything. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's stuck on there, so let's go get some more leverage. 3/16? Is that what you want? That's probably better. It's not great, but better. Oh, there we go. Well, let's see what we have coming out of here. Yeah. No magnet. Smells gassy. Understandable for as much gas as we've been dumping in there. Looks like a blue AC Delco. Hopefully that is the case. Well, and now extreme oil change. Oh, that's a big boy. It's like a sandwich. Can't say that. Where'd my oil filter wrench go? Because it ain't coming off. Okay. How are you gonna come off now? Squish? Squish? Do a squish and turn? Did I bend my freaking oil filter wrench? I think I did. I bent that thing. Huh. Well, that sucks. Time to go back to the old standby vice grips. Maybe I should fix the spring in here so it actually works right. Or not. That's right. Don't need it. I do it often. Come on! Did I just say I really don't like getting oil all over my hands? Oil filter's off now. It is a Delco one. I had to do what I don't like doing to oil filters to get them off because it makes a big giant mess. Well, I'm going to tell you what I did. Give me a second. So essentially what ended up needing to take place is you take a screwdriver and you pound holes into the filter and you use it to pry the filter off, turn it. You might have to do it multiple times. In this case, it did. The reason I don't like doing that is, one, because you get your tools all covered in oil, which isn't a bad thing if they need to be like vice grips lubed up. But if you need to reuse the filter for whatever reason, it can't get off, you're in a pinch, you got a hole in your filter now, so you have to get it off. The other thing, like I mentioned, I don't like getting oil all over my hands, and that's usually what happens with that. But in this case, we needed to get it spun all the way off. The good news is, though, it is an AC Delco filter that was put back on there, or was on there. It was the PF 1218. Keep that for your record book there, Christopher, when you go forward and buy a new filter. Nope, you're just gonna use Google like everyone else does. Yep. All right, so new filter's on, oil plugs back in. Now we're gonna go back, get ready to fill this thing up. One thing I'll point out to you, especially in these older cars that have been sitting a while, I got that little bit of like lard looking stuff in there, the Crisco built up inside here. That is normal. That is oil residue, gross. Yeah. I will tell you that it is normal because your engine's like an air pump and it gets hot, cold. Condensation builds up inside of them. They've been sitting for quite some time. Moisture creeps up the exhaust. You get moisture inside there. When it starts heating up, it steams up. Steam mixed with oily vapors, that's all that is. You do have the crankcase ventilation system that's in there. Check that. Check valve might be bad or something, or get a oil catch can to catch all that junk. Whatever the case might be for your situation, it's normal. But if you see something, clean it up. We're gonna clean it up. And if we'll check out our check valve here, it looks like it's just the tube going on down there, but there might be one on both sides. I don't know. Sometimes they're hooked up to the carburetor. Usually it's like one of those fuel emissions things to catch the vapors and everything. Yeah, there's the other one right here. Doop. So that goes down here to the bottom of the carb. So I already told you I was running the Napa 1030. Also, in addition to that, what I'm going to be running is ProLube. ProLube. Proof is in the pudding. What kind of proof is in the pudding? I don't know. It just says formulated to treat and condition metal parts, increase fuel economy, prevent breakdown, prevent sludge and varnish, extend engine life, and then double oil life. So it's meant for racing, cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, tractors, or semis. So racing is definitely what we're doing in the Suburban. I don't know. Go watch the ProLube videos. I was always intrigued back in the 90s. They had the Prolong, zinc additive stuff, whatever it is. ProLube is on there doing the bearing testing, and I don't know. I picked some up, so we're gonna test it out. It's supposed to mix 1 ounce per quart. You can put it in transmissions. Yeah. So simply add 1 ounce of ProLube treatment per 1 quart of motor oil. Use with each oil change. Engines with excessive wear or high mileage, in addition to 1 ounce oil treatment. ProLube treatment blends with all types of conventional synthetic motor oils. For automatic transmissions, use 2 ounces max. You can also use it in hydraulic. Anyways, we're going to try it. I'm not going to follow the instructions like it says because I honestly want to put half of this into the Suburban because it's got a tick. See what it does. I don't know. Proof's in the pudding. Let's see. Could be proof in the pudding. Let's see. Let's open it up. It's got the old school pop topper. Probably just unscrews and I'm an idiot. No, that's what I thought. The spout does come up. Well, break my finger off. Jeez. It smells like the junkyard. Great. That means it's probably really good. It's probably just all the junkyard oil just filtered. All right. You know, I bet this screws on, and then you could probably just pull it up from there. Like so, that's what I was trying to do to begin with. You know, it's like the old lacquer bottles. Anyway, my dirty filter, funnel, ProLube, proof's in the pudding. It's got an okay consistency, I guess. Just like normal oil. Like normal oil. About half. So we got about a half a quart of ProLube in here. And we're going to finish by washing it down with probably 4.5 quarts of Napa Know-How. Because it was on sale. Plus, yeah, I guess it's all sorts of stuff. Science. Good stuff. So I say 4.5 quarts because if I remember right, the 80s GM, 350s, 305s, all that stuff had 5 quarts. We put a half quart into our ProLube in there. And I also pre-filled up the filter with however much out of this. So there's a sight gauge. We're down to, I don't know how to read these. So 1, 2, 2.5. So we still got to add. We got to add 1 more quart. 1 more quart. Seems about right. We'll call that good. We'll let that simmer down, do its stuff, get mixed in there. Then we'll get it running, we'll check it out, and we'll see if we gotta add more or whatever. Or whatever. Or whatever. Whatever. Or whatever. Or whatever. Okay, switching gears because it's been bothering me. Apparently I'm more geared towards electricity. These grounds have just been bugging me. How dirty they are. Don't like them. Smell funny. Look gross. So I'm gonna clean up the grounding bolt here, grounding strap. The, the gross star washer, whatever they call it. Because I want good groundages. Because if you remember, our headlights are not very bright. Here's a video. Chris, insert the video here. Ting. And hopefully this improves on our headlights. All right, so I got those grounds taken care of, and let me show you the headlight difference. Yeah. Low beams, you know, they're as bright as they're gonna be for stock. Better than what they were. Let's check out, see what we got. High beams. And high beams, yes. We got the lights. So this one will probably eventually go out because it's got condensation in it. It's fine because I got one on the shelf and we'll just replace it with a stock halogen. But till then, I'm gonna rock it as is because, well, I'm lazy. Yep, it's because I'm lazy. Never fear, square bodies are here. Changing out the belt on the alternator here. Guess what? You're gonna want to check them. I don't know if they're the same length or not, but let's just check and see. Start there. We'll go like that. And it looks like it is very close, if not a little bit larger. So that's good because we got a lot of adjustment in that alternator. However, Chris is gonna keep this one that is about on its last leg, and I'm gonna keep it in the Suburban in case this one decides to go whoo when I need a belt to get me by. That's your tech tip of the day. All right, so I guess I'm gonna put some Marvel Mystery Oil down the gas tank here. It'll help lube up the needle and seat and the carburetor. Anything else that's in there, you know, just help free up stuff that haven't been sitting for a while, has been sitting for a while. I don't know. Next thing I'm going to do is I have this ISO heat injector cleaner and water remover premium fuel line antifreeze. Helps increase fuel mileage. I've had this stuff for a long time, and it's not even meant for this. It's meant for fuel injection, but it's going inside here. Whole bottle. Because I don't know what the line conditions are to prevent freezing. You know, if it's got water in it, it's basically alcohol. That's what it is. Used on all engines, including 2-cycle or diesel engines, safe for gas, E10, E85, and diesel fuels. Fast starts year-round, help prevent fuel lines freeze up, removes water, helps prevent rust and corrosion, helps clean fuel injectors and carburetors. So it says right on there, safe for catalytic converters and for O2 sensors. So that's in there now. Now I have about a half gallon of gas I'm gonna dump in there as well. Finish it off. hopefully, 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 I'm probably gonna go to the gas station and get another 5 gallons of fuel, because then we'll have like 9 gallons of fuel in there, and I'll mix it up. I don't want it to leak, because if I got a leak, then I gotta drop it with that much gas in it. So I'm checking that out. All right, so I got about 4 more gallons of gas in the tank. We got everything buttoned up. Air cleaner is back on this thing. Ready to pull it out, warm it up. I topped it off with a little bit of coolant. I just had some old stuff laying around that honestly needs to be filtered. So if it gets dumped, it gets dumped, which I'm having a feeling we're gonna end up doing that anyway. But I'm gonna back this outside into the snow abyss and hopefully let it run and warm up. Start by checking out that charging system. Nothing on the gauge, might just be a fuse issue, but got 14.7 volts on the multimeter. So gauges that got an issue. We are bubbling as well in the radiator, so it's flowing. I was hoping that exhaust leak would cool off some, or come around, but I'm gonna let this thing run. I'm gonna clean up the garage here a little bit, kind of check it out, see what temps we get up to. She ain't running well, but she's running on her own fuel system and charging. got the sizzles going on the exhaust manifold. Cool. And we are right there, and the add line is right there. So we're about 1.5 quarts low. Fine. Suppose. Put some more oil in. Suppose. I have had it where some of these older GMs are exactly 5 quarts. Some are 6 quarts because larger oil capacity, bigger filter. You just never know. I mean, my Silverado takes 8 quarts. My new one. Yeah. Anyways, glad I bought an extra quart. So this is one of those vacuum driven ones, and this is supposed to move like that. And when it moves off the vacuum off of this, it's supposed to push this, which you can see opens up that flapper, does other stuff. There's also another thing back here. It ain't working. It's closed. That's why we have high idle. So we're gonna have to wire it open for right now. And I don't want to run it without the air cleaner on, because you can see the snow is getting in there, and I don't want to suck snow into the engine. It's probably had worse, but yeah, let's fix it. So I was expertly playing around with this, and the little thing here, this can be adjusted, clocked either way. This was stuck up. So I was just gonna wire it to go down, but you can see I just pushed it down, and now the choke is open. So maybe it just needs some persuasion of the lubrication type. You know, full can of PB Blast, but it has no pressure in it. That's good. Works well. Works real well. So now I bet we go to start this and it'll work just fine, but I want to see if that thing will close here. I'm gonna let that thing run. Well, we got issues. Let me show you. Can't tell really, but the fuel line is leaking or it's getting water dripping on it. I'm going to look at it here a little closer, but check this out. Radio works and the wipers work. And the heat. It's not cold, but we got, usually these things are full of mouse piss. And we actually got heat. I can't move the thing over without probably breaking the cable because that's probably frozen, but that's neat. Huh. I'm gonna let this thing run a little bit more because we go over to check out the temp. Push it 165 in the thermostat. So even if it had a 160 thermostat in it, which I doubt it does, it's still going to take another 10-15 minutes to warm up. So I'm going to double check that fuel leak, make sure it's not leaking. Maybe it's just moisture from the top. Yeah. Well, it is in fact a pinhole leak in the fuel line. I guess to be expected because it is however long it's been sitting. So I'm gonna let that cool off a little bit, do some cleaning up like I originally planned, and hopefully get back on getting this thing situated. I don't know why I'm whispering. It's cold. Procrastinating like I usually do. I'm putting on new wipers. It's exciting. Wipers that actually work. Already pulled the old ones off. My Ollie's brand Simons with the Z Vision blades. $3.50 a piece. Ollie's, good stuff, cheap. So these square bodies take a standard 16-inch wiper blade, so no matter where you get it, just take 16-inch wiper blade. I usually get them off Rock Auto, but I had to get some from my other truck, and they were there, so I got it. Summer flavor, cool. They just gonna clip on like the old ones? Probably. They better. That's what the J-hook's for. What? Come on, J-hook. Come on. Come on. Do we gotta replace the whole thing? We gotta replace it with the one that comes with it? Probably. Guess if you insist. You're supposed to lock. You're supposed to lock. Right there. And then where do you go? You gotta get clipped out of here? Or can we just clip? Wipers are so confusing. That ain't gonna work. Oh, now you're not coming off. Huh. Well, interesting. You gotta do, how, what? Simon. Wipers, I guess so. guess so. So stupid. Years of leaf decay. It's gonna be fun taking that off. All right. Simons! Oh, there's soda blades. We learned on the last one we need a piece. Do the piece thing. And then Simon says, click. We'll just click in there. It's not like we're going storm chasing. Don't have to be afraid. Perfect. Another thing to check off the list. Again, I'm just procrastinating because I don't know. Well, if I'm being the straight shooter, then I'm not really. Yes, it's the fuel system line is. They got the steel line that comes with the frame rail and does a little whip, and that's where we plugged in our meat, and then to our filter, and then back down to our fuel pump. Right where it's got the little eat, that's where it's rusting out, pinhole leaks as usual. So I got enough fuel line in the system here where we can just undo it from where it's leaking and then find someplace in the frame rail, I guess, where it would work. I can kind of see down by the starter there, it's gonna be a spot. I just gotta get my cutting tool, cut it off, and then we'll just put it on and put it in, and that should solve our problem. Do I want to flare it? I don't know, but that's what I'm gonna do. Because I'm not monkeying with all that nonsense. These little tools here, little flare cutting steel line tool, they're pretty nice. Get into some tight spaces. And as you can see down there, well, no, you can't. As you see right there, we made a cut on our fuel line and we tied into right there our good fuel line. Now that goes right up to the front where it was leaking. And that little cutter tool makes a nice little clean cut. It's more for brake lines, but transmission lines, fuel lines, you name it, have it in your toolbox, it'll be a lifesaver. So unless I have unlimited fuel supply, we've been running now for like 15 minutes. My concern was that fuel filter was not filling up and moving and just stayed stationary, but I guess if fuel wasn't getting in it, it would have shut off by now. But it ran it out, so it is what it is. I'm gonna keep running it. I'm gonna get it up to operating temp because it's still pretty cold out. Well, Suburban's outside now. I got the Mazda in. I got to do some work to it in the garage, but I ran for 30 minutes and had no issues. Didn't get hot. It actually warmed up in the cab like it's supposed to. So, things we got accomplished today. We got the wipers. Yep. You know, wipers. We got belts. Belt's done. I'm gonna call coolant done. Yeah. It's too cold outside to be monkeying with this. But Bert's gonna spend the night. Oh, Bert 2.0 is gonna spend the night outside because I got other stuff I gotta do. So I'll be back to you here when I get back in the garage in a couple days or tomorrow. I don't know yet. Let's see how well this thing unthaws.